that? Is that
It's boba.
Tea? I can see the little nose.
It's boba.
Okay,
His eyes are closed. All right. So, and I already started recording, so I don't know if you have a drink, but I do. So beer.
Oh my god! Hold on. I have water, but I put it in the fridge for a second. Give me it. No ice, just warm water.
Cheers.
Okay.
Ew. Well, I mean, is it warm or is it just room temp?
I can say it's room temp, but the room is warm, so so it's warm.
Okay, got it. All right.
It's fine though. Water is hydration, and I guess that might be good for you or whatever.
Okay.
Whatever. It's boring. Sorry, I came with a boring drink, but
we always have water, but we always have to cheers with something. Hello, my name is Lorrie.
Hello, and I'm Mel. Welcome to the pod, and welcome to Mild Chaos.
We've been gone for a little bit.
Wait a second, because my brother just pulled up some stock.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
Cheers again?
Cheers
okay.
For real now. Cheers for real. Okay, hold on.
That looks like soju. Is it soju or sake?
I said sake, didn't I? I said sake.
Why?
I meant soju. I definitely meant soju. I definitely got these for him too for his birthday.
Okay, that's funnier. If you're the one that got them.
I definitely got this.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, chaos.
Thanks.
We've been gone for a little bit, and we're back. I guess. I'm gonna just do a quick catch up because today's gonna be a quick episode because I gotta go and do other things, and I had technical difficulties, and I can't speak apparently.
Technical difficulties.
Discord, you should get a feature where you could flip the camera. Just saying, rotate 180 degrees. That'd be great because then I had to redo my entire setup. So quick catch up. We went to a thing together.
We did.
We went to see Drew Afualo and her sister Dayson for a Two Idiot Girls / her book tour. And it was hilarious. It was great.
Can I say I heard some things from Drew, but I haven't heard like that much about her. You know, like I hadn't heard the podcast too much. The only thing that I listened to was Kaylani's episode for the comment section. And I was just fucking cracking up that whole time we were there. And I guess I didn't expect to laugh as hard as I did. And get emotional too.
Yeah, that happens. I mean, she has a lot of good guests. I think you should look into more episodes of the comment section.
No, I totally will.
And then going into, I won't go into the subject yet, but like she just did one with Chappell Roan. And then there's some stuff with like our topic that they had talked about. But she has a lot of guests that go on there. And then Two Idiot Girls is what the podcast she has with her sister. And it's basically like what we talk about, just shooting the shit, talking about random stuff, talking about fandoms they're into, and they do a lot of different little bits that they do, you know. But I know that they're pretty funny.
Bits really get me. Yeah, the bits really get me. I love how they're riffing all the time, the whole time, and that's just my shit. I love when people riff off their bits. You know what I mean?
And it was a good time. And I had a little VIP thing, so I got her book and she signed it, and I took a picture with them. Everyone knows Drew is a tall lady. She's 6 feet.
Tall as hell.
But she says it on her podcast all the time. She's like, I always tell people that I'm a big bitch, and sometimes they don't believe me. And then when she goes to like do shoots or whatever, and they didn't listen to her about her being like tall.
You know what it is about her? I think that she has all the right proportions. Not to just like talk about her body right now, but I feel like she has like all the right proportions. So when you see her on camera, you're like, oh, that's just like an average size, you know, person. And then you see her, and she's like an Amazonian goddess.
She is Samoan, so like You told me you never really had any Samoan friends, and I have, and most of them are pretty tall for the most part. I think I have more Hawaiian friends, but they're also relatively tall. Her sister though is the old. Dason is actually the oldest sister. She's shorter. She's like 5'4". And they talk about it all the time.
Oh, that's cute. I love that she's like small, and I'm also 5'4", so I guess that I feel small too. It's just sometimes I feel tall as hell sometimes.
I don't.
I guess I'm just not.
Actually, who makes me feel tall is my family. Like, my mom's tiny, and like my sister's tiny.
Yes, your mom is tiny.
My older sister, Lourdes, I don't know if you got to meet her when she's shorter than me also, so they make me feel normal size.
No, I don't think I did. My
dad's not super tall. My brother somehow is taller than him. I don't know where he got that from, but even he's only like 5'8", 5'9".
Somewhere in the ancestry.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the ancestry.
And then like he has my nephew. His son is like 6'2".
Jesus.
Yeah, I just saw them for like a family thing a few weeks ago. So my nephew's real tall.
Is his son?
He's 21 now.
That's kind of crazy.
Well, I was just talking about this to someone, because I was talking to the niece that I went to the wedding to a couple weeks ago. I remember when I saw her at my parents' anniversary, we were talking about it. How like I'm like, they're younger than me, obviously, but not a ton younger than me. And my comment's just like, it's because my siblings are old as fuck. They're 10, 14, 17 years older than me. You guys are gonna. It's a huge. They also wanted kids, like particularly like my brother and my oldest sister, and so I knew they were gonna have kids eventually, and they were gonna be younger than me, but they weren't gonna be super younger than me, especially if maybe they ended up waiting longer in life to have kids.
Yeah.
So you know, or do it earlier. I mean, but so it's just kind of funny. Because my niece is technically like a year older than Charlie, and that's like a weird dynamic. But again, my brother is 17 years older than me, so
that's wild.
It's a weird family tree for sure. But
that's so funny.
But yeah, got to see two idiot girls, and that was a fun time. I think.
I was gonna say you also got a fun little tote. Okay.
Oh yeah, I did get a little tote. It looks like Jaws, and then it's like them water skiing in front of it. I wanted a poster, but I forgot that I was getting like stuff for the VIP, so I'm happy I got a tote for it. I like that her whole family is like involved. Obviously, Dason, but her mom was the one taking the photos and videos at the signing and meet and greet.
She's beautiful.
Her mom looks young,
young as hell, like older sis vibes, like.
I don't know if her dad was there, but from what they talk about on their podcast, he's cool too. And then her boyfriend's there, and they also had like a bunch of other like TikTokers that are friends of theirs that are there. Like Eric Cedeno was there, and I wish we met him. I wish I had I wanted to have a wig and a bob just so I could say hi to him and just like hi.
The Willy Wonka bob.
I want to look like Edna Mode just going up to him.
Yeah, just like duck walk on your little feeties.
Yeah.
And then right next to him was Teffy.
Yeah.
And Teffy's pretty huge online. But like your friend, so Lorrie had bumped me up to the front because I was like towards the back, and then no one had shown up that was next to her or next to her friend from the Patreon chat. The Patreon.
Yeah. I made friends with some of the girls that were sitting near me. And we have an IG chat now that we just send memes at.
That's cute as hell. No, but like the girl next to me, she was freaking out that Teffy was in the audience because it seems like she was her biggest fan. And she started crying. And I was like, stop, that's not cute. You have to go meet her, like, ASAP. You have to go and say hello at least.
Yeah, she looked like she was waiting there when we left, so hopefully she met her.
Give me 1 second. Sorry. Okay, so as you can tell, I have a little update of my own. I've moved. And I'm now living with my mom at the moment for a few months. And something just happened. One of the circuits blew out, and so my brother had to go downstairs and ask the landlord to turn it back on.
Fun time. Living with family again.
Yeah.
That's a whole...
Oh yeah. It's so fun.
Do you mind if I dive straight into the topic, because what we were talking about actually kind of has to do with it?
Yeah.
Well, like, considering that we were talking about, Drew started out as like a TikToker talking shit about men, which I fully support, and just went on to like doing our own little shows and stuff like that, and obviously the comment section or other podcasts and stuff like that. But I think it brings me, and also like the friend I made, how she like loves Teffy and was talking about that, and how we love like Eric Cedeno and think he's funny. And then this kind of goes into what the topic was, which is kind of like parasocial relationships with especially like celebrities and especially influencers, TikTokers, online people. And although I think everything was relatively normal, all of us are big fans, obviously, of the people that we met, and going to see Drew and Jason, we're fans. And I'm a fan of people, but I feel like when we have these parasocial relationships, it's a little bit more in a negative space when it comes to people like this. And let me read a definition of parasocial relationship. The term parasocial relationship refers to a relationship that a person imagines having with another person whom they do not actually know, such as a celebrity or a fictional character. This often involves a person feeling as though they have a close, intimate connection with someone whom they have never met due to closely following that person or character in media, such as TV shows, videos, podcasts, etc. For example, a child may feel as though they are friends with a fictional character due to frequently watching the character on a show. Or a fan may feel as though they have a relationship with a pop star due to their emotional investment in the star's career and life. Parasocial relationships are often discussed in the context of social media and other online platforms that allow celebrities to directly interact with fans and followers. Though parasocial relationships are often considered common, they may be considered unhealthy when they become extreme enough to interfere with real life relationships or daily life. And I feel like when I talk about parasocial relationships, I kind of veer towards like kind of more the negative side, but I have parasocial relationships with like fictional characters, but me personally, I don't get super into it. Like, even though there's a celebrity or like a TikToker, I do appreciate stuff. And I think a lot of people do get into podcasts or shows, especially in like hard times sometimes, and maybe those shows and podcasts and stuff kind of help them in those times, giving them a good laugh. And I get that, and I appreciate that. But when does it maybe go a little too far? Because Drew did have Chappell Roan as one of her most recent guests. They just had Lollapalooza, and she had like 80,000 people at her set, and she wasn't a headliner. But one of the questions that one of the things they had talked about, Chappell had mentioned, is that she stopped doing meet and greets because people would basically just like trauma dump on her. And I think it's okay to be like, hey, you really helped me in some like rough times, and I'm a huge fan of yours, blah, blah, blah. I think that's fine. But it seems like she's saying trauma dump, like as in these people got into like a little too much detail at like a fucking meet and greet, and it started feeling like really heavy for her. So she stopped doing meet and greets. Also, even now, she's kind of already describes that everyone's might be a little too much too, because she almost doesn't want to be a household name because people are a little too crazy, honestly. And that's so wild to me. It's like you want to have your music hit, right? You want to show that you are like this pop star, but at the same time, people get a little too comfortable because you're basically a celebrity. Yeah, she stopped doing meet and greets because people are trauma dumping on her. Like, guys.
I think that's honestly why I feel like a lot of people, they go into this industry, they want to make their money, and then they're out most of the time.
Yeah.
They're making it, they're doing it. They're like, sometimes they make it like in secret. Sometimes they're just kind of like making the art and staying out of the spotlight. Like, look at Frank Ocean. Look at, like, Jim Carrey. Like, all these people that they had the taste of the spotlight. They saw what it did to people. They saw what it did to them. And then they quietly left. Or they're just like, you know what, this shit is not for me. Because that's so much. It's not normal to be that famous. It's not normal to have so many people vent and dump on you all the time. That's just, like, not a thing. Unless you're a therapist, unless you're licensed to do it, unless you went to school for this shit, it's not normal. And just because you make art doesn't give the people the right to just, like, treat you like a conduit for their feelings. You know what I mean? And I think that's what these parasocial relationships garner. That's what they reap, you know? And it's kind of weird. That's what they reap.
Yeah.
It's most of the time is a negative thing. You can use these parasocial relationships for positive stuff. So as you know, I recently got into running, and I've been looking for inspiration. So I recently found this girl. Her name is Becca, and I subscribed to her YouTube channel. And, you know, I'm like constantly, like, you know, telling Travis, like, oh my God, Becca said this, and Becca posted her partner, and oh my God, like, she's queer and all this stuff. And I talk about her like we're, like, cool.
Yeah.
But I think it's never to the extent where I'm like, oh my God, Becca, I'm your fucking biggest fan, and if you don't run, if you give up running, then I'm just gonna quit. So, and I'm just gonna, like, I'm gonna stop doing everything. And I think that's when it becomes toxic.
It's a dependency almost, like, on these people. Yes. I think it's perfectly fine to feel connected to someone you follow or a celebrity if they really did, you know, like, their work helped you for whatever reason. But yeah, getting into, like, making this, acting like you have an actual relationship with them in any way is just, like, a little too much. You know what? It also, this happened before COVID as well, but I also feel like post-COVID, people just, like, have no idea how to socialize anymore. And then also really bad at separating the online world from their reality. And don't get me wrong, reality can be a real fucking bummer. Like, I get it. But there's just a point where you have to realize, it's like when people get so into fictional characters on a show that they, like, leave death threats to the actor in a show. You know, that's so crazy to me. Like, when people start doing that stuff, I'm just like, do you guys even understand how to separate the fiction from your reality at this point? And that's so fucked up for so many people. I mean, one of the most notorious fandoms that I guess I can say I'm a part of, but also feel ashamed to be in, is, like, Star Wars. And I love Star Wars. Mostly because there's a good part of the Star Wars fandom that is extremely toxic. Very toxic. I mean, you can see it with, I mean, it all really started, especially when the prequels came out, and Hayden Christensen got so much fucking hate, and also Jake Lloyd, who was the little kid who played small, like, tiny Anakin in the first movie, and he basically quit acting because of all of it. And then Hayden Christensen just got so much hate for the prequels. He is getting love now. I think it's the millennials that grew up with him as we were kids when those prequels came out. And he's been kind of coming back because he's been in some of the Star Wars shows as of late, and he's finally getting, like, his flowers. But it's because I feel like some of the younger fans kind of pushed out some of the older toxic fans, you know. But it's still happening. Like, I haven't watched The Acolyte yet, but there's been a lot of stuff around The Acolyte, and mostly about Amanda Stanlenberg. I don't know how to say her last name. Amanda, she plays Rue on the Hunger Games.
Right. Yes.
She's in a bunch of other stuff, but I always remember her as that.
Yeah, right.
But she's been getting a lot of hate for it. But also, people start, like, sending death threats and other stuff. It was like when Daisy Ridley was in one of the more recent movies. She was, you know, the new Jedi and female, and that was a whole thing. she got bullied off of the internet. She had to delete all of her social media because of it. You know? Were the movies great? I mean, they weren't great, but you don't just threaten someone's life because of a movie. Like, get your head out of your ass. And I get disappointed when stuff isn't good, too, like something I'm a fan of. But I would never in my life ever think of threatening the people who made it or who were the actors. I'd just be upset and like, it just needs better writing, or these effects were trash. I don't know. But I wouldn't fucking go like, you guys are fucking idiots. You should all fucking die. And, you know, like a lot of these fandoms can get into.
A lot of those people don't appreciate the work that goes behind these large productions and the money and the investors and the producers that you need to get. And I think that they don't get it. And even if the work is not what you expect it to be, you have to appreciate all the work that was put into it. And you, like, you know, and I just feel like those people don't appreciate it. Those people are just so married to the version in their heads that they want to see. I get really annoyed by those kinds of people. And that's weird as hell. I hate to give them a platform, but it's the one that sticks out to me most recently. But did you hear about the whole Chris Brown thing? That some crazy fan.
Just saying in pause. What, babe?
So yeah, some crazy fan of Chris Brown's was threatening his dancers. Some crazy fan went on live and threatened his dancers. I think because they thought that they were getting too close to Chris Brown, or I don't know, something like that. And it got really weird because they seemed like pretty deranged. And
no, I didn't hear about that.
And this was just his answers. Yeah, I think it happened for a moment. Like, I had stumbled upon it. I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
I mean, don't get me wrong. Chris Brown's a piece of shit, but still, the people who are working at his shows are probably just, you know, they gotta work at a point.
They're working. They're his dancers. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like. But I don't think it was. I think it was because they're obsessed with Chris Brown. It's not even because
they were obsessed with him.
Chris Brown.
What the
fuck?
That's
why I'm bringing it up, because they're obsessed with Chris Brown and they're basically like, get off my man type shit.
Dude, that's other shit too with other celebrities too. Like people who work for these celebrities, like, oh, why are they? That's so weird. It's so weird.
Like, like, are you serious? And that's the kind of shit that parasocial relationships, you know,
as a person, I feel like I'm a person who's chronically online. Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
but I feel like I've never seen like you or I or even Charlie or anyone, at least in my circle of friends, to be so obsessed with things. I mean, I've seen us get excited about seeing a certain person, but not to a point where we're like, we think that we have a friendship with them or an intimate relationship of any sort. I mean, that's just so crazy.
That's another form of Delulu.
Delulu is not the Salulu, guys. And I just... It's just so crazy to me.
Please don't go there.
I mean, one of the other things, too, going back to, like, the Chappell Roan thing, she also said that she had, like, a crazy stalker and shit, and, like, this whole thing. And like I said, herself was like, I don't know if I should be I don't think she wants to be a household name because I'm pretty sure she thinks everyone's insane. So, you know, which is disappointing. It's just like, I like seeing the people that I'm into, like, getting famous for their art and doing their stuff, but you can tell, like, all this stuff is, like, crazy in general.
It's not a normal thing.
It's not normal.
Just not a normal thing.
And it's been around for a long time, I feel, since the internet became more prominent. But though celeb worship has been around since celebrities, really, Hollywood's been around for a good amount of time. I think that's always been a thing. And I also, like, there's celebrities I like, and I'll be like, yeah, dope, and, like, support or whatever. But there's still like, you still need to learn a separation, like, what's your real life? And I know, again, real life can be a bummer, but, like, at the same time, you can't just, like, be in these people's DMs acting like you're super cool. And, you know, a lot of these celebrities have, like, stalkers and shit. I remember when Renee Rapp went onto the Drew Barrymore show, there's actually a moment where I guess is a known stalker of Drew Barrymore was at the show. And he was like, wait, you know me, my name is blah, blah, blah. And I remember Renee Rapp went into protection mode. She like grabbed Drew's hand and she walked her off the stage into the back. But like that shit happens. It's crazy. That
is fucking terrifying.
The concept of, like stalkers and.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if you've seen this latest season of Love Island USA.
I don't watch Love Island, but I hear a lot about it from my coworker.
Yeah, so I think this is the season that everyone's been watching. Well, it's already done. But I think everyone's been on top of it. And there were some cast members that were being like completely obliterated online. Like awful. Like there was one that someone had the video of him, and it was a compromising position, to say the least. And it was awful. It was just like not right to do, but they did that shit. And then there's people talking like so much crap about this one cast member, like threatening her. And then it's another thing that happens. Like celebrities are one thing, but then reality show people are a whole other thing. Because I think there's more of a way to relate to them, because they're just regular people that happen to be on a show, right? And then they blow up, and then people are like all over them, and there's been people from Love Island that have unalived themselves because of the horrible things that people say, that fans say about them, whether it's about their body, whether it's like about maybe things that they've done, because they're humans too. And I think celebrities and actors and artists and all these people that are always in the limelight, they're always gonna just be scrutinized a little bit more for their mistakes, because they're under the limelight, they're on camera, they're making their mistakes, for the world to see. And that's the thing about the parasocial relationships, is these people that love you so fucking much, they're probably also going to hate you at some point. You can make one little mistake, and then all of a sudden, you're the worst person that they know, or they know, quote unquote. And that's a terrifying thing.
What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. What was I going to say? My brain just pooped. Oh, fuck. I forgot what I was going to say, like, completely. Do you have any other comments? Sorry, while I try to think what I was going to say.
I do have some questions, I know you said that you or any... Okay. I was taking a shot. I know you said that you or anybody in your circle aren't like obsessive like that, but have you ever spoken about somebody, like an influencer, a YouTuber, or something like that, and have you spoken about them like as if you know them, and it probably wasn't like maybe in a negative way, maybe it wasn't a positive way.
I mean, I get pretty excited like when the celebs I'm into are just like doing cool shit. I'm just like, oh yeah, this is really dope. Right. Like, or like repost their stuff or something. But I don't know. I'm never like super obsessive. I'm never like, well, I guess I have said like I sometimes feel like a sense of like pride, or like I'm proud of a celebrity, especially like the Olympics are going on right now. And like some of those athletes just have like a strong story of like how they got there. And like I said, I've only done sports to like the high school level, and then I was like doing Spartan races and stuff, but like I get how hard it is to get to somewhere like the Olympics. So seeing some of the people win is just like really crazy, and almost like you're like, oh, I'm like really proud of them. Like there's a Filipino gymnast, Carlos, I forgot his last name, but he won 2 gold medals, which he's the first Filipino male athlete to win a gold medal, well, a medal in general for the Philippines. The first person ever win a medal for the Philippines was a female weightlifter in the 2020 Olympics. And so this was their second, and he got 2 medals, so the second and third medals ever to go to the Philippines. And, you know, and that's crazy to me. And I was like, oh shit, this is like so super cool. Proud of the guy. Awesome. I feel a sort like a small sense of pride, but I've never really talked as if I know these people, because I don't. I don't know any of these people, but I kind of relate in a sense that I like can relate into like the hard work to a certain thing that I've experienced before, and that's cool. I think that's fine again, but like, no, I don't talk like I know these people because I don't. Yeah.
I feel the same. I feel like I've never been like that obsessed over a celebrity or an artist. I feel like sometimes, for me personally, I think that I appreciate comedy a lot. So I feel like maybe I would like spaz out if I see maybe like a comedian in the street or whatever. Like just have like a normal human reaction, because I feel like that's just normal. Be like, oh my God, it's that person. But I feel like when it comes to these celebrities, I don't feel very like crazy about them, you know? I think I have more of an obsessive personality with like things and like activities and stuff.
Things and activities for sure.
Than people. Yeah, you know what I mean? ADHD.
I think maybe when we were like kids, when you're like, well, the thing is like when you say you're like into stuff when you're kids, I feel like the adults around you just assumed you're obsessed with it, so they buy you a bunch of stuff for it. You know, that's what I feel like. Right. Yeah, I loved boy bands and I liked Orlando Bloom as Legolas, but I'm not the one. It was my brother. It was someone. Someone bought me a literal cardboard cutout of Legolas, and then after like a while, I didn't know what to do with it because I felt bad because it was a gift, but also like I have this cardboard cutout of a celebrity of Legolas.
That's a little crazy. You know,
I had posters.
I remember that kid that had. You know, that's what I was gonna say. I was never that kid that had posters in my room.
But they were mostly like of like anime.
Oh.
And I had like a couple of boy band posters, but I don't know if I think I did talk about this on the podcast before, but in middle school, my mom used to buy me like those J14 magazines, and I used to sell those posters that came in them for $1 a pop.
Right.
So I sold it to other kids. I never told my mom about that. But I did, I used to just sell little posters from those like teen magazines to other kids.
That's so funny. No, I never did that. I never really did that. I
had like a few, but I wouldn't say I had a lot. Like I had maybe a NSYNC poster and a Backstreet Boys poster, but like that was kind of it.
Yeah. I have another question. How does like Instagram and TikTok like fuel these one-sided relationships, do you think? Like, and just social media in general.
I mean, Instagram for sure. I know there's Facebook and MySpace and stuff, but when Instagram first came out, I think because it had that visual aspect to it, because it was mostly photos and stuff before you could even do video on there, but it was photos, and I think a lot of people are very visual. The visual association to whatever the caption was just like a more fun way to share things. And when the algorithm wasn't shit back then, and it was in chronological order, it was easy to see a lot of stuff quickly. And I think Instagram really started that. And then when TikTok came out, it took me a while to get on TikTok, but I understood it. The way the algorithm works for that, since it literally makes you a For You page, as in it's taking, what you're liking and all that other stuff to make, it's obviously getting stuff that you're interested in. So it gets spread so much faster. That's why TikTok made so many viral things, and it still happens, is because it spreads very easily, because it's going to the people who want the content,
Right.
And so it just spreads like wildfire. I mean, I listen to Two Hot Takes and Smosh reads Reddit stories and stuff, and they'll and a lot of those posts are always like, I posted this on Reddit and TikTok, and they always go like, I didn't think this would blow up the way it did. That's always the line. But it's true because you don't know. Because sometimes you could post like the most random shit of like your fucking cat sleeping, and I don't know, it blows up overnight. Look at him, he's so cute, little eagle boy.
He's adorable. Look at him. I love you. Love you, Bubbles.
He's asleep. Bubbles. I'm surprised he's asleep with me yapping over here. But yeah, it just fueled it because back in the day, before social media, even to age myself, I guess. We're the same age, but you know, when you would listen to artists and bands, it was like word of mouth and like flyers and like that kind of thing. It was hard. I mean, it's still hard to be an artist, but you have so much more power now. I mean, social media also sucks because you have to be consistent and all that. But aside from that, you have the tools to try to get attention, and things like TikTok, Instagram are what get you. Because when we didn't have that, flyers and word of mouth was all you really had, and that was hard, you know? And guerrilla marketing really...
I think it was always just harder back then than it is now. I think that people don't have to pay that much for marketing, for social media marketing. You can literally just like... Yeah,
you can do it all for free.
You can do it. You can...
TikTok's free, Instagram's free.
Release a song and have... And some TikToker will dance to it, and that will blow it up. You don't even have to do a dance.
Facebook business pages are even free. Like it's all accessible and free. Mm-hmm. Although it is a pain in the ass to keep up with them. If you do the work, you could possibly... I found a lot of artists on TikTok. Back in the day, I used to find a lot of artists on MySpace because MySpace had MySpace Music. And I used to be really heavily dedicated to artists a lot. And it was a lot of indie artists. A lot of people I would see at like Vans Warped Tour, or I would go to small shows in Northern California that I would drive to at 16. And, you know, social media, even in the MySpace days, was still a way to market yourself. And I followed a lot of music pages there. And then getting in Facebook, I wouldn't say it was very music heavy, but you could make business pages. I think that's what most people did. Or like profile pages. And then when it was Instagram and TikTok now, it was easier to just post your stuff and have your profile ready to go. Yeah. And with like places where you could put a bunch of links, like, what's it called? You know, when there's like one link in your Instagram bio and you go to one that's... I don't know why I didn't know. I literally made a link tree for Charlie. But like, yeah, it's just... the world of... I've talked about this before. There's a lot of positives to the internet because a lot of people who deserve the notoriety get it. But then it also brings up, you know, people who don't deserve it, but also weird shit like parasocial relationships that people have. Right. Because you feel so much closer, especially with TikTok. People like a lot of authenticity. So people put more videos that's just like, you know, their vlogs or get ready with me is the outfit of the days, and it feels closer. You feel more related, like it's more relatable to you in that sense. So that's when people form these weird relationships with these people online, and it's just it's interesting.
How do you feel about I don't know if Instagram completely rolled it out or if it was Instagram or Twitter. I don't remember which app it was, but I think it was some beta testing for an AI that would respond to you when you message your favorite celebrity or something, like an AI version of that.
Oh yeah. Kehlani has one. Yes. I forgot what it was called.
I don't remember.
I just recently found out about it. Because I was trying to get pre-sale codes. Wow, I forgot what it's called. But yeah, it's like you get their number and they reach to you directly.
I think that fans that flame a little bit more. It's so weird. I think there's definitely the pros and cons of AI. Like honestly, I use AI a lot these days. Like just today, I was like, please list out a couple questions about parasocial relationships. Make them funny, please. And
I wrote my reviews for people for our mid-year reviews.
Okay, you see what I mean?
For
like if you input what exactly what you want, it'll give you that and more. You know what I mean? So I think there are pros, especially in the workplace, especially for business purposes. But when it comes to that, that's weird. That's really weird. I don't agree with that very much. I think it gives people more ammunition. People that like stalkers, people that are a little crazy.
I think to kind of wrap it up, because I have like a video call I have to do with my friends. But I think the other. Oh, I know what I was on fucking talking about earlier. God damn it. Before I forget again, I remember I had a conversation with a friend. I forgot who it was, but they were being like, I mean, when you become a celebrity or you want to be famous, you accept that, like, not like you ask for a kind of situation, but like, when you want to be famous, you're kind of like, that's what you get kind of situation. Like, sure, yes, being famous does come with a certain amount of stuff that you expect, but I don't think you're ever prepared for people to be really crazy and literally giving you death threats or giving you certain things. I think, yeah, you wanted to reach a lot of people, but I think there's still people. Yes, you wanted to be famous, but I think also people find out what fame can bring you, and not everyone's really prepared for it the way they think they are. I mean, like, no. I still think a lot of these celebs they're still people. And there's just an extent that we need to separate, like, what our relationship is to these people. And sure, they wanted to be famous, but I still think it's still wrong. I feel it's still not right to say it was like, well, that's what they should have prepared for. That's what comes with, like, the fame that they wanted. And it's like, agree to disagree.
They're humans just like you. They shit just like you. There's nothing more special about them than you would be. So
they're talented. They shared their talent. And sometimes I feel like some people who get famous never realize they would get famous. I feel like,
right.
Like a lot of these TikTokers are, a lot of these influencers, or even before influencer was a desired job for the younger generation, and then, or even Chappell Roan or any of some of these artists who didn't realize that they would get as big as they are. But yeah, exactly. I mean, I mean, if anyone watches this, I mean, what do you think on parasocial relationships? Do you have any personal ones? Are you obsessive, or are you just kind of like us? We're proud of, like, certain celebrities that we like, but we're still like, I still don't know them personally,
and we don't know them personally in our heads, and actually, so yeah.
I mean, this is a short one, only because I had too many technical difficulties. Your power went out, my fucking camera shit, because Discord can be mad at me.
There's some retrograde going on.
Bruh, right now, today's been a day.
I think there's a Mercury retrograde happening now. So,
but yeah, you can find us video and audio 30s Dirty and Thoughtin on YouTube and Spotify, and then you can find us on TikTok and Instagram, and email us at 30s Dirty and Thoughtin.
30 Thoughtin at
gmail.com. It's been like a month, sorry. I haven't done this ending in a while. And yeah, send us some random shit, send us some opinions, and have a good day. Have a good week.
Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about the episode. We are very curious to know what you think about parasocial relationships. And yeah, have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.